Hello, welcome back to the workbench. This is the build of the Airfix Sea King kit, converting into the Royal Australian Navy Mk50. Okay, um, not much more to go on this little thing. I have decided to ditch the cargo door, because when you look at it, as you can see there, the clear transparency looks like crap. And can you see it? Oh, you might be able to see it. Oh, there it is there. There's several cracks going through it. I thought about replacing the transparency with clear plastic, and found it wasn't worth it. The door itself was a bit thick for the scale, so I decided to make my own replacement door. So that's I think it's 20,000 plastic card, and 10,000 clear plastic card stuck in the middle. Some strange reason that looks out of shape. Don't know why, it just keeps on looking like it's out of shape. All I've done is I've slightly bent it. I've got to bend it again, the bend sprung out again, and sanded a recess at the bottom of the door so that it sits over the bottom rung and touches the top rung on the side. So for the time being, I'll leave that off until I'm ready to put it on. Finished up the front cover for the avionics bay. I started painting it just to give it some colour in there, and also to test my placement of the lights underneath. I've used Citadel colour, bolt gun metal for the silver. As you can see, one of the lights there is out of shape. That's okay. I'll be putting some mask over top of it, and that will disappear. It's because I stuck one of the Perspex rod in there, acrylic rod, in the wrong spot. So I had to sand it out and put another one in. That was fun. That was really finicky. I have worked on the side door, which is that area. So the top door did have its own transparency in it. Oops, dropping everything this morning. Did have its own transparency in there. However, I have decided to get rid of it and go with my clear transparency, which I cannot find right now. Oh, there it is. I'm going to use my clear transparency again into the door. Since I did such a good job on the main door, I thought, yeah, let's do it on the small door. It'll look better. The bottom part of the door. Model kit should come with a warning that says, do not try this at home. Scratch built the stairs. Now, this is 72nd scale. There's my ruler. Give you guys some idea the size of this thing. So the top of the ruler is centimeters, and the bottom of the ruler is inches. That's all scratch built. Glued in the lightning holes in the side. I think that's what they call lightning holes. And as I mentioned before, the cargo door. This is what the transparencies look like. I have sanded them again and again and again, and I've got some silver polish out try and improve the transparency, I thought, stuff it. Did such a good job on the canopy that I've cut out some replacements. So they're just sitting aside waiting for just before I go to paint, so that I can glue them in and they'll stay in place. What I'm now looking at too with the windows, these curved windows for the chins, these ones here, that's the plastic transparency you get. It's thick, it's thin, well it's thin on one side, thick on the other side. It's got a notch that you slide into the part and put the piece into the model. Not liking it, I have decided to do the same thing again. I might smash mold those yet. From what I can tell from the pictures, the windows are not curved. They are more squared off. So this curve up here is more of a square, not a curve. So I'll have to look closer at my pictures and fix that up. And you probably just see some plastic card down the bottom there. I've put some in these windows up here, and trying to reduce their profile so they're not as noticeable. They'll be painted black anyhow, or grey. I think I'll paint them black. They are going to be the bit of backing for the transparency, so that they'll sit there nicely. Because I found when I did the cargo door, I was manhandling the transparency in there a bit to make it sit. And if for the cargo door it was easy, because if it popped through too far, just flip the part over and push it back through the other way, glue it in the spot. And when I dry fitted them into here, yeah, I didn't feel comfortable with it. It will go in with a gentle pushing, but I'd rather that tightness there, so I'll put a bit of backing in there to keep them in spot. I'll keep them in check. And I'm now tossing up. I gotta turn my brain off. It's thinking too hard, or thinking too much anyhow. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I mentioned this in an earlier video. The transparency is a bit thick in some locations, and quite frankly, it kind of looks like crap as well. And I've got some pin marks in places where I don't want them. So I have thought about, and I'm probably going to do it, is to cut out the side windows and replace the framing with plastic card, then use the clear plastic to create windows that can be slid open and closed. But you know, the sliding doors, the sliding windows on the sides, and I'm going to position them open. Because realistically, someone made a comment on another forum, or maybe on my Facebook page, I can't remember, that I've got a lot of detail inside, you can't see it, and when you put the transparency on, you can't really see much inside the helicopter, especially the cockpit. So I've decided to open it up a bit so that you can look into it. So that's it for that side of things. I'll throw up some stills in this minute. I redid the exhaust outlets on the engines. I originally started doing brass and turning brass and shaping it, and I went to cut it, and I didn't have anything to hold onto it properly, so I tried a pair of needle nose pliers. And as I was cutting with my Dremel, my hobby tool, all the super glue broke off. Now the super glue had been, I used Zap Kicker to dry the glue, so it was sitting there for about 2 hours before I cut it off. And it all came off and all fell apart, and I went, oh god, that didn't work. So I've just replaced it now with plastic tubing, and I've ground into the structure behind here to allow the tubing to go in. Now you can't see it. As I said, I'll put them in photos very shortly. But I made a duct. So I used this tubing and had a duct running almost 90 degrees to it. You can't see it too clearly, but that's actually sitting on an angle. It's swept back and down a bit. So that's the engine exhausts. Okay, let's see if I can get my light to make this show a bit better. Yeesh. Okay. Alright. Can you see it? You just see it just there going inside. So that's all scratch built. Okay. Rotors. Now, the rotors are no longer what they look like. This is the leading edge to the rotor blades. And here's what I've done to them. So I've cut off the leading edge and replaced it with plastic card. Reason being is several things. One, the leading edge or the profile of the propeller blades are wrong. They're not thick enough from what I can tell. And the extension or the size of the blade itself is all out of shape. Okay, I've got something at the door, so I'll be back in a sec.